Por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde Hermosa, 1470, 96.9 FM. Tenemos al doctor David Bronstein. Él es un pediatra especialista en enfermedades infecciosas de Kaiser Permanente, y el día de hoy nos está hablando de todas estas problemas de salud que tenemos en lo que respecta al RSV, la flu y el COVID. Doctor, I thought that we had learned a lot, because now, before we shouldn't wash our hands as frequently as now. And I was thinking, oh, for sure we are going to have a lot less illness than before. We don't shake hands anymore. That is another thing. But it's not enough, eh?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Now, it's interesting because with RSV, that is a virus that is spread very easily through secretions, through basically snot if you're not washing your hands. But the other viruses we see, whether it's COVID or flu, for example, the way that those are spread is not as much through contact with surfaces or other people, but through the respiratory spread. And that's why when we talk about prevention, masks are so important, because just by being close to somebody and just by breathing the same air as them, even if they're not coughing, you can still spread these viruses very easily through the air, either closely through droplets or even more aerosolized, especially in the case of COVID. So unfortunately, washing hands is not enough. It's still a great idea. It'll still prevent things like a lot of RSV infections and also any of those other stomach flu type illnesses that you can definitely spread through germs on your hands and on surfaces. But it's not, washing your hands is just not enough to prevent the spread of things like COVID or influenza.
Okay. Bueno, le comentaba yo que creí que con nuevos hábitos que hemos creado ahora de lavarnos muy frecuentemente las manos, de no saludar a nadie de mano, que eso iba a disminuir el tipo de contagios. Dice, bueno, va a disminuir el tipo de contagio, por ejemplo, del RSV, que se transmite a través de, ya sea de que no te lavaste las manos o de superficies que están contagiadas. Pero lo que es las otras enfermedades del COVID y la flu, esas no, porque esas se transmiten a través de contacto. Dice, cuando, por ejemplo, hablamos y emitimos partículas ahí, esa es la forma de contagio. Entonces, desafortunadamente, podremos controlar lo otro, porque no vamos a enfermar de problemas de eso, de la flu del estómago, ni vamos a tener RSV. Pero para el COVID y la flu necesitamos otro tipo de protección, y por eso es que se recomienda el uso de la máscara en lugares públicos para que no infectemos a nadie más. How bad the flu season has been now in the Antelope Valley?
It's been a rough flu season. Just like how RSV came very early this year, flu also came early. We started seeing cases in September and a whole lot in October, and then November. And then fortunately now it's finally starting to calm down. But we had a few solid months of a lot of flu infections. A lot more cases than we saw over the past few years. But, you know, this was a flu season like we saw pre-COVID in some of the worst flu years that we've seen. In Antelope Valley, just like really everywhere else throughout the United States, there were a lot of people who were hospitalized because of complications from the flu this year. Things like pneumonia and other more severe infections. We saw a whole lot of them, and we were very busy, especially those of us seeing kids, but also our adult doctors were very busy with people being sick with the flu.
Bueno, le preguntaba cómo fue la estación del resfriado, o cómo le decimos, de la gripe. Dice que ha sido muy dramática, que igual que la otra de la RSV, vino más temprano que lo necesario. Y ya estamos viendo casos en septiembre, octubre y noviembre, y sí, afortunadamente ha disminuido en estos momentos, pero hubo muchísimos casos, muchísimo más casos de los que habíamos tenido anteriormente. Y dice, bueno, vimos mucha gente que tuvo que ser hospitalizada por complicaciones, mayormente adultos que se les complicaba además con una neumonía. Entonces ha sido una estación muy difícil, pero que afortunadamente ya está residiendo. Doctor, then the flu, because I got my vaccine in September because I hear the recommendation, oh, if you get it in September, you're going to be ready for the flu station. Was enough to do it in September, or we have to do it before?
No, that was very smart. Definitely, we recommend starting in September. Really, as soon as we have flu vaccines, it's a great time to get it. Sometimes we'll do a little bit late August, but for the most part, our main flu vaccine campaign does start in September. And this year is a prime example of why we should do it that early, because flu can come early. And in fact, this year it came early and was very severe. What I would tell people, though, who haven't gotten it yet, it's definitely not too late. And I still do recommend getting your flu vaccine for this season. Even though we already had one wave of flu, it was that flu A, the H3N2, which is often very severe. That's calmed down. We're worried that there may be more strains of flu that come later in the season. So most seasons you have flu A early, and then you start having infections with influenza B, often this time of year. And so getting the flu vaccine, it will cover you against not just flu A, but also flu B, and will give you that added protection to keep you healthy really the rest of this season.
Bueno, le comentaba yo que yo obtuve mi vacuna contra la gripe en el mes de septiembre, porque había oído que era recomendable que te la aplicaras temprano para que le dieras tiempo a la vacuna de protegerte cuando viniera la flu. Y dice, pues esa es una muy buena idea. Dice, yo todavía les recomiendo que si no se han vacunado todavía es tiempo para vacunarse, porque acabamos de pasar por esta ola, pero seguramente van a venir otras y vienen con más complicaciones. Dijo, hay la tipo H3 y 2, y dice, y este tipo de influenza tenemos que controlarlo solamente a través de la vacuna. Hay otras complicaciones que se presentan si no estamos vacunados. Así es que es el tiempo de hacerlo en este momento para la segunda ola que seguramente se va a presentar. Okay, doctor, tell me about where can they get vaccinated through Kaiser Permanente in the Antelope Valley?
Yeah, so for Kaiser Permanente, you can get your flu vaccine at any of our facilities. If you just walk in, go right to you'll see a flu cart right there, or ask any of the receptionists, and they'll point you in the right direction, and we'll get you covered. Same thing with the COVID vaccine. We do have that available. Right now, we're still doing a lot of the bivalent boosters for folks who already got their primary series and just need that added boost. And that's also something that if you walk in, we'll take care of you, or you can go on kp.org and go ahead and make an appointment for that. But either way, we don't turn you away if you need your COVID or your flu vaccine. And remember, it is fine to do both the COVID vaccine and the flu vaccine at the same time, same day, same visit. They work fine if you get them both at the same time. Not going to give you any increased side effects. It's a great way of doing it, and then you know you're protected against anything you may encounter.
Le preguntaba yo dónde se puede obtener, para todos aquellos que son miembros de Kaiser, dónde se puede obtener la vacuna. Es tan sencillo como caminar en alguna de las clínicas aquí del Valle del Antílope, y ahí hay lugares entrando donde va a encontrar la vacuna, no solamente para el flu, pero también para COVID. Dice, si todavía no se han puesto sus vacunas del COVID, su refuerzo, yo les recomiendo que lo hagan ya. Y dice, y que lo hagan y que se pongan las dos al mismo tiempo, porque no produce ningún efecto secundario ni ningún problema, y así puede ya estar totalmente cubierto en contra de estas enfermedades. Así es que hágalo ahora, no posponga más esto, y inmediato va a tener la protección. Doctor, but for example, how many boosters of the COVID vaccine there are? Because I am already lost I don't know if I am fully covered or not. Tell me how many should I have?
Yeah, so that's gotten a lot easier now. I know for a while there were different boosters, different age restrictions. Now it's become very, very simple. If you have never gotten the bivalent booster, that's the newest one that covers 2 strains of COVID instead of 1. If you've never gotten that, you can get it as long as it's been at least 2 months since your last COVID vaccine. There's only recommendation to get 1 booster 1 time now. Okay, so nobody should be getting more than 1 of the bivalent booster. Now, if you had the primary series and the original booster, but never got that new bivalent booster, you should get the bivalent booster. But once you've gotten a bivalent booster, right now there is no recommendation to get another one of those. More than likely in the future, we'll be going to COVID vaccine every year, like the flu vaccine. But for now, there's only a recommendation to get the bivalent booster just 1 time to be fully protected.
Bueno, le preguntaba yo cuántas vacunas se debe de poner, porque ya yo estoy preocupada, no sé si tengo suficientes o no. Dice, bueno, afortunadamente esta cuestión del pasado, que había tantísimas vacunas, tantísimas series diferentes, ya se ha disminuido. Ahora lo único que tiene que aplicarse es una sola vacuna si no ha recibido el booster. Y si recibió la última vacuna en los 2 meses anteriores, ahora ya puede usted recibir este booster que lo va a proteger contra este nuevo virus que es muy contagioso. Y pueden ir a la clínica los que son miembros de Kaiser, y ahí también les dan su vacuna y se la puede aplicar junto con la del flu. Las 2 vacunas al mismo tiempo, y ya nos quitamos de problema. Doctor, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on Café con Leche.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here. Anytime.
Hasta la vista. Bye-bye.